everybody. I wanted to share some tips and tricks with you about taking the Amtrak train. So over the years I've been on several trips locally and across the country taking the Amtrak. So if you want to see some of those videos, look up here where it says clicking Amtrak trains. Just click on that and you can see some of those trips. So in this video I'm going to share with you some tips about taking the Amtrak train. So the first thing I want to share with you is before you go to the station, call ahead and find out if the train's on time. So the train will never leave before the scheduled time, but it will leave after the scheduled time, so delayed. And delays do happen. So call Amtrak or the station and find out what time the train is leaving, and that will give you a good idea about what time to be at the station. The next tip that I have for you is about baggage. So with baggage, some stations offer checked baggage and others do not. So another thing to do is call ahead and ask if the station has checked baggage. If not, don't worry, you can carry the bag onto the train on the Superliner equipment and some of the other trains. They do have baggage racks that you can put your bags at. So that's a good thing. You can't take your bag to your seat or to your roomette because they're pretty small and crammed, but they do have baggage racks available. If you're at a station that does have checked baggage and you decide you don't want to check your bags, that's fine. You can also bring it on and put it on the luggage rack. Very easy and simple. The next tip I want to tell you is what to bring on the train. So if you're in a sleeper, your sleeper will include pillows, as you can see here, and you'll get a blanket. But if you're riding in coach, you'll need to bring your own pillow and blanket because those are not included. You can get a comfort kit in the lounge or at the station for $10, but sometimes your own pillow is just, you gotta have your own pillow. My next tip is to bring some snacks on the train. So if you're in a sleeper car, meals are included with your trip. If you're in coach, you're on your own. You can dine in the dining car or in the lounge car, but you have to pay for that. And if you're in the sleeper car, be aware that meals in the lounge car are not covered. So you always want to bring some extra food on the train just because there's a lot of time between stops and between meals. So there's nothing like bringing a good old Oreo cookie onto the train. So bring your snacks, don't forget. Another tip that I have for you is about cellular service. So these trains are traveling long ways. They're going all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast, and they're going between various cities in the middle. So sometimes you're in good cellular areas and sometimes you're not. So Wi-Fi on the train is based off of the cellular network. So if your cellular signal goes down, your Wi-Fi is going to go down, right? And that does happen. So be prepared that cellular coverage can be spotty on the train when you're crossing, great distances and you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's not going to be cellular service. So just be aware of that. The next tip that I have is about the plugs. So if you're in a sleeper car in the roomette, there's only one plug for the two of you. If you're at a coach seat, you have one plug. If you happen to get, two seats together and nobody sits next to you, you'll have two plugs. So everybody has one plug. So the tip that I have is bring a power strip or a extension cord so that you can plug in multiple items into your one plug. Because I know a lot of people you have your phone, you have your laptop, you have this and you have that, and you need to plug all this stuff in, and one plug sometimes just doesn't cut it. The next tip that I have for everybody is never leave the train at a fresh air stop. So a fresh air stop on the train is really a crew change. So it's going to stop and you'll be able to get off and stretch your legs and walk around, but don't go far from the train. You always want to be sure that you can hear when they call all aboard. So they will leave you. One time I was at a stop and it was father and son. The son was about 20 years old and he ran off to get some food. The conductor called all aboard and the train left without him. So the dad had to get off at the next stop, and I don't know what they were going to do, but they had to figure that out because I think they were going to go a long distance. So that happens. Never leave the platform at a fresh air stop. Another nice thing, if you're in a roomette or a sleeper car, you can order room service. So sometimes you just don't want to go to the diner, so that's fine. Ask your room attendant, push the button, and ask them to bring room service. They'll bring you the menu, and you can order off the menu, and they'll bring it right to your room, which is great. Another tip that I have is if you have difficulty climbing stairs, some Amtrak trains are multiple level. So right now I'm on the second floor of a Superliner, but if you have difficulty climbing stairs, just know that there are roomettes on the first level, there's a handicap room on the first level, and there's also coach seating, which is called lower level coach seating, that's available. So if you need lower level or an easy access or a handicap room, give Amtrak a call and they can book you into those seats. Easy. My next tip is before you begin your journey on the Amtrak train, go ahead and join Amtrak Guest Rewards so you'll get the points for that. And as we know, points add up. It works the same way as airline miles. You take a trip, you earn points. You take another trip, you earn more points. You take another trip, you earn more points. So the more points you have, the more likely you are to win a free trip. I've done a free trip across the US. It's great. I highly encourage it. Those points add up. My next tip about taking the Amtrak train, and this is probably one of the most important one, is be flexible. So the Amtrak train, sometimes it travels a long distance, sometimes it's just going locally, but things happen and delays happen. So who knows, there could be a weather delay, there could be a bridge out, there could be a car stuck on a train track, there could be a freight train interfering with you. I don't know, but you just want to be flexible. So Amtrak will work with you if you miss a connection. So just be aware, as long as it's a guaranteed connection. But just don't stress about being late into town. And if you are being late, just call who's ever going to pick you up and let them know that you're running late. And Amtrak is pretty good about letting you know, letting everybody on the train know when they're being delayed. So those are my tips about taking the Amtrak train. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have additional tips for us, go ahead and enter those in the comments below and share your tips and trips for taking the Amtrak train. I wanted to thank everybody for watching today's video and have a great day. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe and click the little bell to be notified of additional videos. Bye-bye. Choo-choo.